viewers, and welcome to another episode of Namibia at Work, a talk show where we share information on various labor and employment-related matters within the ministry. My name is Luela Sasele, and I'll be your host for today. This ministry is entrusted with a task of ensuring compliance with the provisions of Occupational Health and Safety as provided for under Chapter 4 of the Labour Act number 11 of 2007, as well as regulations related to occupational health and safety. To dive into this topic, we are joined by our guest, Mr. Johannes Shihepo, Chief Industrial Inspector. Mr. Shihepo, you're welcome.
Thank you for welcoming me.
So without further ado, let us go straight into the questions. Can you briefly describe the primary functions and responsibilities of Occupational Safety and Health Division within the ministry?
The Division of Occupational Safety and Health has a mandate to conduct workplace and dangerous machinery inspections, conduct follow-up inspections with regards to such inspections, as well as to attend to complaints with regards to occupational health and safety, as well as to investigate accidents and dangerous incidents in the workplaces. So the purpose of conducting these inspections, apart from being it a legal obligation entrusted to this division, is to assess the level of compliance, the employer's level of compliance with regards to occupational health and safety, in order to either advise them or give them recommendations for improvement if they are found to be non-compliant. And if they are found to be non-compliant, to also advise them and motivate them to keep up the standard. There are other functions such as to approve and register approved inspection authorities. These are professionals, experts, as well as specialists in occupational health and safety. Those that will be conducting inspection functions in the workplaces on behalf of the employers, either to conduct, to do sampling or investigations or installations of machinery sector. So the ministry is a responsibility of this ministry to assess their competency and approve them as such to conduct such activities. So those are the main responsibilities of the division.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shihepo, for that information. I want you to tell us as to what are the key duties of employers in Namibia to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of their employees according to the Labour Act.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. The employers are obligated in terms of the Labour Act, in terms of this section 39 of the Labour Act, that is where their duties are stipulated. And their duties are to, without cost to the employees, they are expected to provide a workplace that is safe, without a risk to the health of the employees, and that has adequate facilities and arrangements for the welfare of the employees at work. They are further expected to provide information and training to the employees with regards to their safety and health. They are also expected and required to provide plants, machineries, processes of work and systems of work that are safe and without a risk to the health of the employees. They are also required to give training to their employees in occupational health and safety so that they can work safely. They are also required in terms of the Labor Act to notify the ministry in case of accidents or dangerous incidents occurring in their workplace. So from any other sectors of economy, the employers are obligated to notify the Ministry of Labor. But with regards to occupational diseases, they are required to notify the Ministry of Health and Social Service, to notify the Chief Medical Officer. And from the mining sector, they are required to notify the Ministry of Mines and Energy. There are quite a number of duties mentioned in that act, such as to ensure that whenever they conduct their activities do not harm any other person other than their employees. So they need to also take other persons into considerations who are not their employees. They are also expected to provide safe entry and exit out of their workplaces, taking also into consideration persons with disabilities. Yes, they are also they are also expected to ensure that safety arrangements in their workplaces are established and their employees are aware of them. Oh yeah, and in addition to that, Mr. Zasele, the issue of PPEs, PPC, that's personal protective equipment and personal protective clothing, that also is a responsibility of the employer to provide to their employees at no cost. So those are some of them that I can talk about for now. But they are provided for under Section 39 of the Labor Act.
Mr. Shihepo, can you tell us how does the Occupational Safety and Health Division within the ministry conduct inspections to ensure compliance with safety regulations in various workplaces?
Okay, thank you for the question. The division has two inspectors or two categories of inspectors. They have workplace inspectors, those are the industry inspectors. The division has machinery inspectors. Machinery inspectors focus solely on dangerous machineries, which are boilers, elevators, and escalators. Whereas industry inspectors conduct inspections in workplaces almost in all the sectors except the mining sector, like I mentioned from the beginning. So how they do this is they have developed forms, inspection forms and checklists to enable them to conduct their inspections efficiently and effectively. These forms are very necessary and important so that inspectors do not omit or forget items or items that they are supposed to be inspected, or they do not forget to ask important questions, because you can be an experienced inspector, but the industry is different, the sectors are different. The activities that goes on in agriculture sector are not the same that occur in, for instance, construction or in manufacturing sectors. So the forms are developed in a way that if you are going to conduct inspections, for instance, in the construction sector, there is a generic form for that. And if you are going to target the agriculture sector, there is a form for that. But there is a generic forms, but there are forms that talk to each sector. So, but if you are going to conduct inspection, for instance, on an elevator, there are inspection forms and checklists developed specifically for that. Escalators, there will be different forms. Boilers, there will be different forms. This is to ensure that all the important questions are asked, all the parts of the workplaces are inspected so that the inspectors do not leave anything out. This is necessary when they come to compile their reports. They have all the information captured. And Mr. Zasele, just to add on to that,
yes,
the inspectors, they are entitled, they are actually empowered in terms of the Labor Act to decide on how to conduct their inspections. So they can decide to conduct surprise inspections, whereby they just decide to show up at any workplace and begin with the inspections. Yeah, this is necessary because sometimes you want to catch people off guard so that you can get them all the information, so, and avoid some information being concealed or prevented from your accessibility. So they may also decide to notify the employer before coming and tell them that, or to inform them that they will be coming for inspection, because not every time employers are available. So if the inspector deems it necessary to engage directly with the employers, so they may find it necessary to first inform them that they will be coming and then decide on a particular day to come and conduct these inspections. So the way or the strategy on how to conduct inspections or the preparations towards that is also at the discretion of the inspectors. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now, after conducting those inspections, you might find that some of the employers are meeting the standards, some employers are not meeting the standards. Now, what measures are in place to address workplaces that fail to meet the required health and safety standards?
Okay. First, I should emphasize the point here to say the reason for conducting these inspections is to assess the level of their compliance. So, and the purpose of this is to prevent accidents and diseases in the workplace. So the purpose is not necessarily to go after them, to punish them or to penalize them, but to advise them on how to go about improvement. So the first step would be to give recommendations and advice on how to improve. But this depends on the outcomes. If the inspector, during the inspections, detects hazards that are serious, or they have the potential to cause accidents, they may issue prohibition order to say stop these activities, stop these work activities, because these are serious hazards. Anytime they can cause an accident or a fatality. But if the result is just that there are non-compliances that in the long run they might bring about the same effects, then they may issue a compliance order, then to say attend to these issues. A compliance order is always accompanied by the recommendations on how to remedy the situation. Attend to these issues, rectify these issues within this period of time. The maximum period of time is usually 30 days. So if they fail, then the compliance order automatically turns into a criminal case at the police station where the affidavit is filed. But if there are minor contraventions, these contraventions will not necessarily bring about accidents or diseases. The inspectors usually give recommendations to say address these shortcomings within this specified period of time. The time frame is also determined by the inspector. But if the employer is, for some reason, failing to address those, then the inspector can also give compliance orders with regards to that, because that is like contempt of the law. So the main purpose is to bring about compliance, just so to avoid accidents. Yes, those are the measures in place.
Mr. Shihepo, can you explain the process for employees to report unsafe working conditions and how the ministry responds to such reports?
Thank you for the question. Employees, first of all, employees in terms of the Labor Act and the regulations on occupational safety and health, employees when they have to report unsafe working conditions, they first have to engage their workplace safety representatives. That is where they first have to report unsafe working conditions. It is usually their duty in terms of the Labor Act to report unsafe working conditions to their safety representatives, who then will report on their behalf to their employers. Or, in the absence of a safety representative in the workplace, they can opt to report if they are members of a trade union. They can also report to their trade unions, who will then engage their employers on these unsafe working conditions. And in the absence of that, employees can also approach the ministry to report unsafe working conditions. So they can do so. We recommend they do so discreetly, so that they don't end up being victimized back at work. So they can come here to physically to the ministry to report, or they can make calls or write emails or whatever method suits them best. And we will respond to such reports, or in this case now, allegations, so to say, by dispatching our inspectors there to go and verify these allegations or reports of unsafe working conditions. And if it's found through inspections or investigation that there are indeed unsafe working conditions there, then our inspectors will engage and will give recommendations or give other measures to bring about compliance. Yes, that is a process.
Mr. Shihepo, what role do safety representatives at workplace play in maintaining workplace safety, and how are they supported by the ministry?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Faseli. The safety representatives are actually empowered by the Labor Act to, at any time in their workplaces, to collect information regarding occupational health and safety, to conduct inspections where they are employed, where their employees are employed, and also to conduct investigations into accidents, prescribed occupational diseases. If an occupational disease is contracted in the workplace or an accident occurs in the workplace, safety representatives are empowered to conduct investigations in the workplace. So they are also permitted to interact or consult labor inspectors, in this case industry inspectors, with regards to occupational health and safety. So the ministry assists. So if they consult, if they are encountering some challenges in their workplaces, be it on how to deal with certain hazards or on cooperation from their employers, they can consult the labor inspectors, in this case is the industry inspector, workplace inspectors, to engage, to try to facilitate the engagements there. These same safety representatives are also supposed to bring the concerns of their fellow employees to the attention of the safety officer within that workplace, or the safety officer who then takes those same concerns to the employer. And his other roles is to represent fellow employees in committee meetings comprised of 50% representation of management and 50% representation of employees. So the safety representatives, now they represent their fellow employees in these committee discussions. So this is where they also raise their employees' concerns. Yes. So, and these safety representatives, they are supposed to receive enough training, because it's their responsibility again to train other employees on safety and health matters. So the employers must provide them with enough training so that these safety representatives can train other employees in the workplace. And to add on to those roles and to how the ministry assists or supports these safety reps, So if, for instance, safety reps are encountering, let's say, a situation in their workplace where they don't know how to go about finding the solutions, their inspectors are always there to advise. And our advice from the inspectors can go as far as referring them to the AIAs, who may be professionals or specialists in occupational health and safety. So just so that they can be assisted.
Now tell us, how does the ministry ensure that employers provide adequate training and information to employees regarding safety practice?
Thank you for the question. Information and training is one of the priority areas of focus during inspections. So whenever inspectors are conducting inspections, this is one of the areas they look at if employees were indeed provided with training and information on occupational safety and health. So in this regard, then employers are required to provide evidence that their employees were taken for training and that the information is shared with them. So without proof or evidence of training attended in terms of maybe certificates issued or maybe attendance registers, the employer cannot claim that he has taken or given training to his employees, and he will be required to do so.
Mr. Shihepo, in what ways does the ministry collaborate with other governmental and non-governmental organizations to promote workplace safety and health?
First, I should put it that safety and health is and should be a collective effort of the government, the employers, and the employees. So the ministry, at the national level, how occupational safety and health is being administered in this country, it is being administered between 3 government ministries. And this is our ministry, the Ministry of Labor, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation, who is a custodian of occupational safety and health, and the Ministry of Health and Social Services, who's responsible for occupational health, as well as the Ministry of Mines and Energy, who's responsible for occupational safety and health in the mining sector. This is from the government side. Now, from the other players, the employers' representatives, as well as employees' representatives. So, whenever the ministry intends on conducting promotions or developing legal instruments to assist with the promotion of health and safety culture in the workplaces, it does so in collaboration with other ministries, as mentioned, and with employers' representatives on board, as well as employees, the trade unions. Other members, such as social securities, they are also invited, as well as the informal sectors and institutions of education and so forth. When it comes, for instance, to accidents, compensation is being is a responsibility of the social security. So you may find that at times social security receives more reports on accidents compared to the Ministry of Labor, because employees and employers are out there. They are more, let's say, they prefer to report these incidences or accidents to social security for the ultimate expectations of maybe receiving some benefits there. But they may not report here at labor, either for the lack of not knowing if they are expected to do so, or if they maybe for other reasons, maybe they are trying to maybe hide away from the fact that if the labor is involved, then maybe some non-compliances will be found out. So collaborating with with social security in terms of statistics, we might as well advise social security always to maybe inquire to say, is this matter already reported to the Ministry of Labor, for instance? And if not, then maybe they can also consult us. So other institutions which also give training, they also consult us on what units to train on. For instance, institutions that offer occupational health and safety trainings, if they contact the ministry seeking advice on what training, on what unit standards to train on, and so forth and so forth. Yeah, so the ministry is not undertaking this responsibility by itself, but it does so always in collaboration and in consultations with fellow ministries and organizations, and also stakeholders, those who may be AIAs or companies that deal with activities having to do with or having some elements of occupational health and safety. And in addition to that, the ministry also seeks the technical assistance of international bodies such as international labor organizations, where they come to provide technical assistance, as well as sometimes with financial assistance and advice. Yeah, so another organization that the ministry work with to promote occupational safety and health.
Can you highlight any recent initiatives or programs launched by the ministry to enhance occupational safety and health in the Namibian working sector?
Okay, thank you. If I recall very well, the ministry launched the National OSH policy somewhere at the end of 2021. This is a national occupational safety and health policy whereby the government has made that commitment to ensure safety and health at the national level in all efforts to prevent occupational related accidents and diseases. And another development is currently is OSH bill, because at the beginning like you mentioned, that the current legal instruments that you are working with now is in terms of the Act is just occupational health and safety is only covered as a chapter 4 in the Labor Act. So the ministry, together with other players such as the employers representatives, international bodies and stakeholders, they have developed the draft occupational safety and health bill, whereby they are planning to have an OSH Act as a standalone act on occupational safety and health to address some of the shortcomings and gaps in the current act and in the current legal framework. The bill is at the consultation stage. It was last month presented to the management of Ministry of Labor. They've given their input, they've been incorporated. Now it's at a stage whereby it's ready for stakeholder consultation. So by this, you can already see that everything that the ministry does, it does so in collaboration with other players. So another one in the pipeline as well is a employees wellness code of practice. It was the ministry initiated the development of this code towards somewhere end of last year in October, if I'm still correct, whereby stakeholders or the stakeholders from the informal sector as well as from the employers' representatives, from the unions, and from other government and non-governmental institutions. They were invited to give their contributions towards the development of the code. The code is aimed at addressing psychosocial issues as well as mental health, and also to provide and maintain the overall well-being of the Namibian workforce. And on the OSH day of last year, the ministry engaged a number, about maybe more than 100, and maybe about 130 small and medium enterprises, as well as informal sectors on occupational safety and health. The ministry gave them an educational awareness sessions on occupational safety and health, and the turn-up was positive, and then the engagement was also positive. And we believe that it will bring about change, because these small sectors are usually the ones that you may find non-compliances as compared to the well-established sectors who have resources to bring about compliance. But as compared to small sectors and medium sectors, they don't always have resources or information. So we took information and advice to them.
Thank you, Mr. Shihepo. What challenges does the ministry face in enforcing safety regulations, and how are these challenges being addressed?
Thank you very much. The main challenges right now are resources. The ministry does not have enough resources at the moment, particularly the number of inspectors, OSH inspectors. They are very few, and the staff turnover is on the rise. As industries are out there after our inspectors, because our inspectors are good, so they are after them, offering them cleaner pastures on the other side. The ministry advertises these posts in the local newspapers as well as in the secular to replace them. But another challenge is a challenge in the recruitment process. There are delays there. And an inspector could resign today, and the replacement will be done months after. The industry is crying, wanting our services. But the ministry is doing whatever it can to replace these inspectors. And another challenge is again to do with resources. There is never now enough vehicles. That's a transport issue. To attend to workplaces, the number of inspectors are already few, and the means to get to the workplaces is also not enough, or not in a good condition. The transport is getting older. And the work of the inspector involves, if not more than 85%, they should be in the field out there, conducting inspection, attending to investigation, complaints, and so on. And for one to enforce, one needs to be out there, issuing compliance orders, recommendations, prohibition orders to bring about compliance. But that one is reduced, but we are doing with what we can. Other issues are to do with some weaknesses and gaps in the current legislation, which the ministry is currently trying to address through the bill. The bill is proposing to cover some of these gaps after the ministry has conducted situational analysis. It found out the gaps and weakness in the system, and the ministry is now trying to address those through some of those, if not all, through the bill, as well as the code and other standards still maybe to be adopted at a later stage. Yes. So that is what the ministry is currently doing. Okay.
Mr. Shihepo, we are coming towards the end of our show. In conclusion, what advice could you give to employers and employees to take proactive steps in ensuring safety and health at work?
Okay. Employers and employees need to adhere to the Labor Act and the regulations on occupational safety and health by conducting risk assessments in their workplace in order to identify hazards and potential hazards that could or have potential to cause harm, injury, or even fatalities to their employees. So they must conduct risk assessments to identify those, and they must employ measures, effective measures on how to deal with such hazards. So to ensure safety and health at the workplace. The employers must also provide training, enough training to their employees, and in PPEs as required by the law. Then the employees are also being advised to cooperate with their employers' efforts to bring about compliance. So yeah, so that is the advice I can give them, because it is actually in the interest of everybody if the workplace is safe. So there needs to be cooperation there between the employers and the employees, and they all need to adhere to what the law requires.
Prioritizing the health and safety of workers is not just a legal requirement, but also a moral obligation. By implementing proper safety measures, providing training, and fostering a culture of well-being, organizations can create a positive work environment. This not only reduces the risk of accidents and injuries, but also promotes productivity and employee satisfaction. Remember, a healthy and safe workplace is the foundation for a successful and thriving organization. Until next time, from your host, Liwela Sasele, is goodbye.